Hey guys, and over here at FICM Repair, help a brother out. So we know that Ford IDS, the whole little enchilada here that all the big boys use, can do a cylinder contribution test with ECM compensation disabled. We'll talk about what that means in a second. But before I lose y'all, go ahead and respond in the comments. What tool do you use, if not IDS, that supports a cylinder contribution test with ECM compensation disabled? So many of these scan tools say that they'll support a cylinder contribution test, and they do, but they leave ECM compensation on, which, because they don't have the ability to shut it off, and without the ability to shut it off, what's the point? So we really want that test. So the question is, maybe we can use this as a reference for others to say what tools support this. So please put it in your comments below. If you're running a certain something, whatever, just put it in the comments below and put the model that you have, very specifically the revision, the software rev, everything that you possibly can say to help somebody else out to say, yes, this tool does do that. Now, why would you want to do this? Well, say, for example, that you are just a little down on power and you don't know why. You're not having any problems with cold starts, hot starts. Your injection control pressure numbers look good. Your IPR duty cycle is 23% at hot idle, just how it should be. You're running a FICM tune from that crazy guy at FICM Repair. You don't have a Dragon brake caliper. You don't have anything like that going on. Air pressure is good, but your fuel economy just isn't where it needs to be, even though your truck runs like a sewing machine. And you're just like, it runs so smooth and nice, and yet something's wrong. So what you can do is you can go ahead and you can say, hey, I understand, maybe I've got a fouled up injector. I've got an injector that's just not behaving. Because the way that ECM compensation works, if the injectors are not behaving, if you got one injector that's just not picking up what the teacher's laying down, right? You got fuel pressure coming into it. You got, the injection, the pulse width is just like what your tuner told it to be, and yet still no power. What'll happen is the crank position sensor is watching, and it's saying, hey, it's taking the little rotational time between rotations as the firing order transpires. It's taken just a smidge longer for this particular cylinder. And so what'll happen is the ECM will step in. It's pretty cool if you think about it. I mean, gold star territory. And it'll go ahead, the ECM will say, hey, let me go ahead and shut down what's going on here. Go ahead and reduce the fueling to the other 7 injectors so that this one injector doesn't ruin the party. So we have a smooth running truck for Bubba, which is great, awesome, but you don't have fuel economy. It's not like it's warning you saying, hey, this is what's going on. Now, when things get bad enough, eventually it'll go out of nowhere, your truck will run super smooth, and all of a sudden, check engine light, and the thing starts rattling and shaking and all that kind of stuff, and you check your codes and it threw a contribution code. You're like, what in the world? Out of the blue, my truck was running great. It actually wasn't running great this whole time. It's just that you didn't know because your friend ECM compensation was taken over. So your way to find this out is to look at the pretty picture, look at the pretty graph, and say, hey, do I have any injectors that are not keeping up like the other injectors are? And all of a sudden, ding, 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 we have a winner. Which, by the way, I should shoot another video on this, but it's another reason not to replace just one injector when you have a contribution code, because the rest of them aren't that far behind. And so you change out one injector. Now that one's great, but it's still not running at max fuel because the ECM is still compensating for the other 7. So it's like, what's going on? And so just recognize the truth of this, but help a brother out and go ahead and list what tool you use that you've got access to that does this, but include, exactly who makes it, exactly what revision it is, what model it's known by, everything. And that way we can all say, okay, when we go shopping and choose to spend our hard-earned pennies, what are we shopping for, so we don't end up in a world of hurt thinking we're getting something and find out that we're not. So at any rate, let's figure it out. FICMRepair.com. We're all in this together. A little shout out to my friends in Ohio. You know who you are.